Right, I think we are finally home and dry, and we've got rid of echoes, and we are on the right channel, and we are ready to talk to Jo from LADbible. So, Jo, thanks for coming along. I'm sorry it's been a bit of a traumatic day. I think it's a day that
blame Facebook. We blame Facebook for a lot of things in LADbible, so we'll carry on.
I think this experience might go in my memoirs if I ever write one, because it's certainly not like anything I've ever done before in all my years of conference production. So if you are watching, please do add comments so that Jo can come back to you with any questions you've got, and also if you'd like to comment on the Facebook group. We are giving away a prize of £1,500 of career coaching to people who've interacted with the page and with the comments when Facebook allows us to. So yes, we'd love to see what you're thinking about the sort of advice that Jo's going to be giving. So Jo's going to talk with us about her approach to recruitment, which is different to many. If you've looked at Jo's profile on LinkedIn, where she's got about, what, 20,000 followers, Jo?
I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there.
20,000 followers. Wow. So Jo hires really by looking at what the person can do. She's not particularly CV focused, are you, Jo? You find the person for the brand, which is a really unusual way to do it and very different to the way Russell was talking about earlier on. So Jo's the talent business partner at LADbible Group, very fast-paced business, and one I think we all would all know, and always seeking innovative people to join the team. But Jo's whole experience is like that. She's worked in so many different areas of media and all of that, where you've had to really think on your feet, haven't you, Jo, to find people?
Yeah, lots of job titles being made up because the roles never existed before. So that's always an interesting one. And then always needing them instantly.
Really? That's surely not what happens to recruiters.
Yeah, I think I spoke to a recruiter the other day and he's like, so when do you need this person? I was like, about 3 weeks ago. It's always the same, isn't it? Whatever the briefing.
Yeah. So I think it's really good to talk to Jo. She's what I describe as an agile recruiter. We've worked together many years ago and stayed in contact, and we love to talk about recruitment and what is or what isn't happening. And it's recruitment is a changing feast. It doesn't stay the same, and it's nothing like when we first started working together all those years ago. So I'm just going to talk to Jo on this one. So this conversation could go in lots of directions. So please do add comments because we will try and answer them. So Jo, when you get your brief from your client or from your in-house client, because obviously you're in-house at LADbible this time. So how do you approach the hiring strategy? What's the sort of the first thing that you do?
So really lucky to work closely with the board. So the board has, for LADbible, a 3-year plan. As much as we say it's a 3-year plan, obviously that's our long-term goals. It will change literally from month to month. So it's keeping that relationship really strong so that they can tell us what's changed, what's moved. Like I said, down to even like Facebook algorithm changes will affect how we recruit. So it's ever moving, but having that relationship with the business, and that's why my role is a business partner, because I'm interested to know the industry, to know the market, know what's going on outside of LADbible, as well as know everything about LADbible. So brief will come to me, and we generally will know of it in advance. So I've hopefully had a chance to kind of talent map, if you like, find out who's out there, see if that role exists in other businesses. I'm really sorry, the background noise. So I hopefully have a heads up that the role is coming up, which is always helpful, and it kind of reduces that we need somebody instantly situation. But it's still things. The business works at such a fast pace. It still can be okay. We actually need to get on and hire these people now because X, Y, and Z's happened, and actually it means we can hire these people. So the line managers will chat to me about what their plan is, what the project they're working on, what's been working really well, and why a new role's been hired, has been signed off. So for a lot of our roles are brand new roles. So the roles that maybe we haven't even had in the business before, or they're the same roles we've got, but duplicates of them. So for instance, our video team is one of our video teams, I should say, is about 40 people strong now. When I joined, it was about 10. So
right.
You know, I'm constantly advertising for a video editor, and I must think that we've got a revolving door. We haven't. I just can't hire enough people in that team to be able to get in kind of the volume of work that they're doing. So yeah. So then
is that a very specialist skill, Jo, that team had?
Yes, because you can be a video editor in different types of businesses, but because we obviously, our bread and butter is Facebook, you have to be able to use other people's content, and that's not always the preferred choice for a video editor. You know, it's not necessarily as creative as some of the video editors that, you know, maybe work on a TV commercial, or certainly like ones that work in film, you know, work with, you know, pixel perfect imagery. We don't have that. We've got, you know, Grandad falling over into a paddling pool filmed on an iPhone or an old Samsung or something like that, and the video editors have got to use that footage, which you know, is not everybody's choice, but there's many perks to having, you know, that fast reaction sort of thing from their videos.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, they'll give me what they would really like to have from this person, and I usually say you can't have that, because that person doesn't normally exist anywhere else. You know, LADbible we haven't really got any direct competitors. We've got lots of different competitors, but no one directly who does exactly what we do. We might be able to poach from certain businesses. You know, Channel 4 is a big one for us on the creative side, but then it could be, you know, like News UK or Reach for the publisher and that kind of journalism side of things. So yeah, usually tell them no, and then say, but this is what you can have. Great. That's where the CVs don't always come into play, and that's why, you know, I can do something different and recruit differently from norm, because a lot of it is down to personality.
Right. Yeah. So that's why you call yourself a professional stalker.
Yeah. So I have an Instagram account set up purely for recruiting on Instagram. You know, we've got Twitter pages that we use for headhunting people. I mean, we do look at people's social media, you know, and that's a big lesson learned for a lot of my candidates, is we will go check out what you're posting about, because that is what we do. And, you know, you represent the brand on those channels, especially if you've got a public page. We're going to look at it. So, yeah, I feel like I saw people, you know, if they have the CV, I know their home address, their phone number, their, you know, sometimes their date of birth, if they put that on there, which I would say don't do. But I've also got your Instagram, your Twitter and your Facebook as well.
Yeah. Okay. And so, you know, you just mentioned earlier on that you recruit for roles that, you know, no one's ever actually heard of the job title.
Yeah.
So how does that work? I mean, for candidates as well, how can candidates know what to apply for if that job title is something that is just so out there?
Yeah, I do try and tailor a job title so that it can be found. I mean, you know, if I'm writing an advert, there's no point me calling it something that doesn't exist, because, you know, that advert won't be found. But then there is justification for why we call certain job titles what they do. So, for example, what everyone would traditionally know as a social media manager, we actually call it a social editor. And that's because you're not doing a marketeer position. So you're not marketing a brand. You're not selling you're not selling product.
Right.
You're doing more a writer, you know, copywriting, editor, that side of things. So that's why we call it a social editor and not a social media manager. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, when I first joined, I was like, that makes it really difficult for anyone to know. But now I understand why we do it, because, you know, it's a combination of understanding social media and you know, the analytical side of things and the algorithms, but then also being able to write a good caption line, you know, and write something witty, or, you know, tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's where that kind of editor and writer side of things come into it. So, yeah, and that can be quite difficult, but that means that my role is very much about approaching people and headhunting and, you know, scouring LinkedIn for people that, you know, have got maybe a traditional job title. So I can say, this is what we've got and this is why we call it this and this is the role, and get them excited about it.
Okay. And I mean, you know, I imagine that LADbible has got like a really good attraction rate for people. So is it fairly, you know, quite a good open door when you go to people?
Yeah, to be fair, the brand has evolved and, you know, has really grown up, and they've got a lot of social good considering we're lad, you know.
Yeah.
It's not kind of a lad culture in the business either. You know, I mean, I'm a woman, I'm working there. I'm massively respected, and I've never felt, you know, any different. So I'm able to reassure any women that kind of go, why would I work at LADbible? You know, because it did have that stigma, that FHM sort of,
yes,
you know, thing to it 6, 7 years ago, and it's quite nice to see it has evolved, and, you know, now with having such a huge audience, they can really use that audience to make things positive. So there's plenty of like marketing campaigns that the teams have done that, you know, are good.
And I know you use LinkedIn extensively for sourcing. Where else do you look for your candidates? I mean, where should people be looking to, you know, get themselves noticed socially? What else can they do?
Yeah, the Instagram one for me is the big one. TikTok is going to be the next one. I know it is. I'm already recruiting a team for TikTok. So they're the two ones that I think as an individual you can influence quite well, in a sense that you can build a community and build an audience and engage with that audience, and you can show what you would do in-house with us. So, you know, for instance, if we're in the interview process, we might ask somebody to mock up, you know, where they would take LADbible. What's, you know, the LADbible that you would, you know, put out on Instagram or TikTok. And for us, it is about building that audience and getting that engagement. So if you've kind of done that in some shape or form before, I'll probably find you, you know, and you'll be noticed. And it also helps if you can obviously get your own pages up to huge followings, because you can start earning money for them yourself anyway. But, you know, it's, you know, that's going to be the new way for us to recruit for sure.
Yeah, interesting. So you do still advertise though? So you still use some standard advertising? What, all online or? Yes,
yeah. LinkedIn is literally our go-to for any job adverts. We're trying to encourage diversity at LADbible. So, you know, we are exploring things like the Other Box and BYP network. And we're also a disability confident employer. So we make it accessible to join LADbible and work at LADbible, whatever, you know, whoever you are and whatever situation. Right. You know, just launched Kickstart. So again, you know, helping people that are on universal credit and are not able to get a job to get into working environment. So it's a really nice opportunity to, I don't say that, you know, the team are incredibly talented. Like what they do with the social channels is amazing, but it can be taught.
Yes.
You know, a lot of the roles that we work with can be taught and you can be trained. So you don't have to have an experience.
Well, Kickstart's a great program for that then.
Absolutely. You know, I've got a girl who was dancing on cruise ships for the last 10 years. And obviously that's all exploded in the last year. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And, you know, Rishi obviously attempted to do that with the, you know, people should retrain. He just didn't necessarily do it the right way with the ballerina photo, you know. What they have done is obviously invest money in Kickstart. So if you're on universal credits, you can obviously come and work for a business instead of just taking universal and do six months work experience. And so we're giving her an opportunity. And as a dancer, she works in a team environment. She's worked with lots of different types of people and lots of different, you know, nationalities and personalities. She's going to be great so she's going to work on TikTok. Yeah. She loves, she knows the dance trends. I'm going to try and rope her in to do some dance trends with me and do some dance videos that we can put out there. You know, and she's got no previous media, publishing, social media experience at all. But I think she'll do really well.
That's brilliant. You know, I think the people listening, it's really good for them to hear that, you know, recruiters and employers are open. You know, we've talked a lot about career change and the fact that the last year means that people have got to have that change of direction. You know, working with an airline pilot, I mean, you know, that feels very bleak for people like that. We never thought they were going to be looking for anything different. It's a shock. So I think that's a really good thing to think about. Go back to the LinkedIn. When you look at a LinkedIn profile, what's the first thing that you look for?
So LinkedIn has extra paid facilities which recruiters all use. So we've all got LinkedIn Recruiter, which enables us to search the whole of the LinkedIn network, which, I mean, there's millions and billions, isn't it? So it is that job title. I can't find that person without that right job title. You know, if I am looking for a social editor, I can't go out and search for social editors because they don't exist, but I would know to look for a social media manager. So putting in the right job title is so important. And I see so many people that will put in looking for work and then not a job title. I'm like, no, we can't find you. I can't search the whole of LinkedIn for people looking for a new job because my search would be too wide.
I did it the other day, actually. I did a search on open to opportunities the other day, and LinkedIn's got 500 million people on it, but it came up with 1.2 million in the search parameters I was looking at.
I think we have to start narrow and build it out. So if you can put it doesn't have to be your current job title, and that's something I was trying to say to anyone I help is, your internal job title is not necessarily what the industry norm is. So exactly the same as the social editor situation. If someone was leaving LADbible as a social editor, I would recommend to them to call themselves something slightly different, whether it be a social media manager, a journalist, or whatever they want to kind of target. So the area, the job title they want to be in. And I think that's the best thing to do, because then you are findable. That's the biggest thing. You've got to be putting out the right keywords to say that the LinkedIn system will allow you to pop up in that recruiter set. And I think, it sounds silly, but yes, putting in that looking for work is helpful, but it has to go after the job title, or it has to be with that job title. So it's really helpful for a quick glance for a recruiter to see that they're looking. But if that job title is not on there, then we can't find you to look at your profile.
And isn't it that box at the top of LinkedIn that's the most important part, that summary box? That's where Google finds you, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the bit. And that headline can be, like I said, looking for a role in account management or looking for a role as a sales director, but it has to include that. LinkedIn does let you put in other places that you're looking. So as long as your job title's right, that's the critical thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that I always knew that summary box was what Google found. So you can even get directed as a recruiter from Google into the LinkedIn page. So that works really well as well.
I'd always say Google your name and that job title and see if LinkedIn is the first thing that comes up, because that would be an indicator you've got it right.
Yes, good tip. That's a good tip. I always find it strange, that we can have people that send us a CV with 6 pages, and yet on LinkedIn, people will give us like 2 little blocks of detail, and there's actually nothing in there.
Yeah, your LinkedIn profile should mirror your CV, especially if you're actively looking, you're out there looking, like we said at the very start, mainly probably because of GDPR, we don't share CVs with the board. We share LinkedIn profiles.
Right.
LinkedIn's got its own GDPR. Actually, you're not looking at anyone's personal details. You are just looking at where that person works, and that kind of snapshot. Even if you're not connected with them, you're obviously allowing publicly people to see certain elements of what you want them to see. And that's on board to say, oh yeah, they look good, or they look strong, or yes, Joe, go ahead and contact them. So that's where we've got into the habit of not really using CVs, because we want to just have an initial glance at the LinkedIn and go, oh yeah, they look good. They've got X, Y, and Z that they've worked at before, and they've got the relevant job titles, and they stayed in the business. Yes. And if that extra detail that you would put on your CV is also on your LinkedIn profile, that's even better, because then they're actually getting the full picture, not just as little synopsis. I think we've spoken about this about mine when, I've previously been looking for a job before LADbible. You're like, you've got nothing on your LinkedIn. I was like, oh no, because I'm not looking for a job. And now, if I started looking for a job, I know my boss would be like, why is your LinkedIn profile changed now? It's worth updating it. But also, you sell you. Nobody else is going to fight that corner for you. So get it out there and put in your key achievements and put in stuff you're proud of. You know, LADbible, our teams are really good at giving praise to each other, and actually trying to encourage people to be on LinkedIn and be like, look at my article, look at what happened, look at this award we've won, you know, because no one else is going to do it for you.
No,
so
no, not. No.
Yeah.
And I think that's true as well. I think as a coach, that's, you know, it's always been my mantra as well, that you keep all your socials and everything up to date, because, you know, you just don't know what's around the corner in life, and you want to be found and you want to be identified. And so, yeah, you might not be looking for your job, but at least keep it up to date.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think I posted a Top Tip Tuesday yesterday and was like, please don't send me a show reel that's older than 2020. You know, if you're going to send me in 2017, it's out of date. And that's the same with your LinkedIn profile, isn't it? You know, if you're not up to date, people will only be looking at what you used to do, not what you're doing right now.
So you're still doing Top Tip Tuesday on a regular basis?
Yeah, so it started because obviously I was leaving the fashion industry and going into media, and I was like, oh, I've got this wealth of fashion, you know, 10 years in fashion, I should really, you know, I want to help people. And, you know, universities and colleges and places don't always support, you know, students in getting a job in the industry, or they don't have the right knowledge. And it's just evolved from there, really. It's obviously dramatically moved away from fashion because, I don't know, the comments and the engagement and people just wanting different things. And LinkedIn's obviously something that I know incredibly well. And obviously from the other side, so from the recruiter and the hiring manager side, you know, I know what you need to do to get that attention and that get noticed and how to use it. So it's kind of evolved more into LinkedIn top tips, but also for interviewing as well, especially with the wonderful Zoom situation.
Yeah.
Providers are available, but Zoom is what we use. And yeah, you know, those tips, I think, because COVID has obviously hit a lot of people, you know, seem to have been well received, because they're things that I like to pick things that people don't really think about, or they're a bit obscure, or, you know, actually you just need a bit of a reminder to do it. So yeah,
because people can follow you, so even if LADbible's not their destination, they can still get advice and top tips, can't they, from following you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, they're not. It's not a how to get a job at LADbible top tip. It's how to get any job, or how to improve your profile, or how to do an interview, those sorts of things.
Yeah, just talk to me about the show reel. You just mentioned that, and about how that can help, because that's a whole new way of recruiting, isn't it, really, in the last sort of couple of years? Yeah,
I think, you know, everybody has a different way your brain works, don't they? You know, there are people out there that are quite happily to look at, you know, a black and white CV and read all the detail line to line, but, you know, I can't. You know, I don't know whether that's, you know, that's just my brain makeup. I love something visual. So that's why I've kind of lent into more creative industries. And a show reel, or even, like I said, an Instagram page, is a really good way to showcase what you can do in something other than just a black and white text format. So, you know, it's some way of, like a portfolio, grouping all your content together, putting it all in one place and making it, you know, look visibly strong and good and beautiful. It can be done in so many different platforms. So whether it be, you know, getting it onto a showreel and getting it onto YouTube or Vimeo, or, you know, using something like Squarespace, which I think is hands down the best place to have a portfolio. You know, it just makes it look so clean, and, you know, it's so easy to view and use. You know, people can spend hours and days working on their own, you know, website to make sure that their portfolio looks how they want it, and then it can just look a bit shoddy, and then it gets instantly out of date. You know, hopefully you're doing, you know, more work every month. So if you get somewhere like Squarespace, you can just quickly upload that file, that image, whatever it is, and get it out there. You know, a journalist, when they're writing articles, you want to share it somehow. It's not always so pretty to send me an A4 piece of paper with, you know, 30 links to articles you've written. You know, if you do it some slightly different, again, it's being able to stand out and get yourself noticed in a nice visual way. It would just break up a recruiter's day, a hiring manager's day, and they all notice it. And that's what you need, isn't it? You know, even if I get a bright yellow CV and I think, oh God, that's awful, I still remember it and I still notice it in comparison to all CVs that all look the same.
Yeah. So anyway, I follow a very sort of great coach called Ron Lees, and I've followed him for about 20 years. And he always says that as a recruiter, when you're driving home at the end of the day, even if you've seen 6 people, on average you can remember 2. And it's being that person, isn't it? Making yourself that person that stands out by your presence, your CV, or whatever it is. And it's true, we don't remember them all. We have to sort of really think about it because we're taking a lot on. So make yourself stand out.
Yeah.
So talk to me about networking, breadcrumbing, all those sorts of things that people can do.
So I think my LinkedIn profile is a perfect example because of having such a huge network. You know, there is benefits to it for sure. Yes, there's negatives. Would you believe I get trolled and I get all sorts of comments just like any social platform? But I think that using it for a positive, and the more people that you engage with and you talk to, the more that your profile will get seen by others. I was headhunted for LADbible originally, just because of my posts. And, you know, I think I was at Arcadia at the time and, you know, no one wanted to work at Arcadia. I just had such a bad reputation. But then, you know, I was saying, oh, I'm going to get my nails done in the nail bar, and, you know, we're having drinks at the bar on Friday, or, you know, I've been treated to something, you know, I've got a thank you gift from one of my line managers. And, you know, it's just things that make you human, and just sharing those stuff that, you know, we do, and, you know, we do day-to-day stuff, but at the same time, you know, it's saying, you know, hello, look at me, if you like. So that's why I think the LinkedIn's great, because you can highlight who you are and what you've got and post it out there, but then you can celebrate other people's successes. So you can go and, you know, a lot of, you know, business CEOs and founders and stuff post on LinkedIn and share what they've got going on. But then, you know, the staff level will also, you know, and you can congratulate people on a new job and, you know, and build your network through just little things like that. And you know, there is the happy birthday situation, which I don't quite see why we need it on LinkedIn, but, you know, it's still nice. You know, I've got a really good relationship with the girl in HR who's in South Africa, who I just randomly have been chatting with, and she keeps saying, oh, I'd love to work at LADbible, it looks so good. And, you know, I can't unfortunately get her here, but, you know, I've built that relationship for helping her, and I can, you know, support her when she goes for interviews, even in South Africa. And that's just purely through, you know, chatting on her posts and my posts. And I think it can really get you noticed. Also, we know that people know people, and that's how recruitment works. I think one of my top tips last year was make friends with a recruiter, because your recruiters know other recruiters in different industries, in same industries. You know, I've helped, you know, our next door neighbour get a job by rewriting her CV for her. It was only in Tesco's, but, you know, she just wanted a part-time job and just rewrote that CV and got, you know, she got that interview, she got that job. And, you know, recruiters are helpful to know. So, and the best thing to do is, befriend one. So find one on LinkedIn who, you know, you can just comment on, and they'll remember your face and they'll remember your LinkedIn, you know, profile. And you never know, they might tag you in something else. And
absolutely,
adding the job, you know.
No, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think it's amazing how much we get to know about each other when you're working with a good recruiter, and that's what Russell and I were talking about earlier. And I know that's what you and Dinah, who's coming later, all do. That you want to know about the person, not just what's on the paper.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we spend, you know, 8, 9, 10 hours a day with our work colleagues. So I think personality is so important, because you've just got to get on with the people you work around, because it makes it less of a chore.
Well, thank you. It's been really interesting. I've learnt loads.
Oh, good. No, honestly, happy to help. And if you know, I've weekly tips on there just to see if it helps. You know, those little changes on LinkedIn do really make a difference for people, to get noticed, to, you know, find the next job. But really kind of is those, you have to go that extra mile and do that little bit of engagement and start talking to other people to kind of get that profile to work for you. Otherwise, it's just being really proactive and, you know, applying for role after role after role, which is a bit soul destroying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right then, thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.
Your evening, and sorry about the glitchy start, but we got there.
We got there. We did. And then, yeah, if anyone's got any questions, just, you know, send them my way. I'm happy to help.
Thanks, Jo. Good to talk to you.
Okay, bye.
Right, well, thank you to Jo. I hope you found that really interesting. I certainly did. Learnt lots there. But I'll be back on later on with Dinah from World Remit, and she's going to be talking about executive recruitment and how she approaches it in a slightly different way. She's now working the fintech brand, but she's got a very sort of wide-ranging background as well in recruitment. So I'm sure that we'll enjoy listening to her. So I will see you later. Thank you.